Welcome to Love of the Game. I'm your host, SJ, and we've got a brand new show for you guys showing some love to Australian basketball and in particular the NBL1 East. Now, before we start, I'd like to thank our major sponsor, Precise Accounting Group. For a dream teammate, they'll get you bang for your buck. Give the team from Precise Accounting a call, and they'll have you feeling like Anthony Edwards at his next endorsement deal, cashed up. Now, our special guest is from the Hills Hornets, Chris Bryant. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Now, Chris, we're going to talk about your team, the Hills Hornets start to the season. Started off a bit slow, 2 losses, but kind of got it back on track with 3 wins. What's been clicking for your team?
I think what's been clicking for our teams is just us coming together as one. We have a really young group, a couple of guys that never played at this level before. Integrating me and Sanders, the other import. And I think just getting that continuity, getting that trust and believe that, that we can lead these guys, further and being able to help them believe that, we can help them achieve their goals. And if we all do it together as one, not one person bigger than the team, that, sky's the limit for us, to be honest with you. So I think we could finish in the top 4 seeder. We had a lot of preseason games. I got here probably towards the end of February. So towards the end of February, we had the opportunity to play at least about 4 or 5 preseason games just to get some things under the belt, learn some plays, learn each other, being able to bond a little bit. And like you said, start off a little rocky. Maybe some guys are a little nervous, to start the season. But, once you get comfortable and you keep instilling that, that belief in guys, I think people started to believe that, we are better than what we showed those first 2 games. And now it's starting to, the rice is in the pudding is really starting to show now. So glad that we had a 3-game, winning stretch. The first one at Central Coast. We started off with 4 road games, which is pretty tough in general. So to get one at Central Coast, to start that off, come back, win at Penrith, and then play a real tough COE team at home, first game at home, it just shows the growth in our development already.
Yeah, because you make an interesting point there about your team's sort of slow start. But one thing that hasn't occurred is you. You've been performing. You're averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and shooting at 60% from the field. Mr. Efficient. What's been the secret to the efficiency, man?
Man, I think with me, I just know my game. Being more so a veteran in this game, I know how to get myself going. But also, I feel like I take pride in taking good shots, not taking forced bad shots. So when you take high percentage shots, it never really surprised me when I'm in a high field goal range, because I'm just putting myself in my spots and my positions where I know that, when the team need me to score a bucket, I could just put the ball in the hoop and then just working out every day on my game, keep trying to expand, show more and more than I showed last year. Shooting a little bit more threes this year, handling the ball a little bit more of a leadership role this year with these young guys. So being able to have a group that's so young that, everybody kind of looks up to and, follow the lead. It's a big responsibility, but it's one that I asked for. So I'm actually, I'm blessed to go through, our trials and tribulations to, get to the end of the road.
And you bring up the young guys. One young guy in particular do we need to keep a close eye on?
Man, I give you 2. Saxon and Jamie. Those are really 2 young guys, first-year guys. These guys, they're always in the gym with us. They're like your annoying little brothers. Yeah, they're the ones that always want to hang out and want to come out with you and do things with you. But, I took it upon myself to put these guys under my wing because I see that, they have potential. They work hard. They always ask questions. They're always in the gym. They're always asking us, every day, hey, you guys going to the gym? You guys going to the gym? We going to the gym. We put but it just shows me that they're hungry. They want to be around, good people that's going to help them lead for after we're gone. So one thing I tell those guys all the time is I try to teach them how to be professional at all times. So if you tell me you're going to be at the gym at this time, I expect you to be here at this time. Don't show up late, because that's not what professionals do. Professional people do, they do things on time. So I'm always hard on them, I'm always, putting my arm around their shoulder when I need to, but I'm also, teaching them just how to be disciplined. Because I tell them all the time, after I'm gone, I'm not going to be here. Like, you guys, it's going to be on you guys to run the show. And how you do that is about, your habits. If you got good habits. So I stand strongly on, what are your habits? Are you going to the gym every day? Are you stretching? Are you working out? Are you doing yoga? What are the things are you doing every day to get yourself better? Because those guys, they're the young 21, 22-year-old guys. So I tell them all the time, you have a 15, 16-year span, and you don't want to wait until you get into your 30s to start to take things seriously. Take it now, build those habits now, and then you'll see the growth. So I tell them all the time, 1% every day. If you get 1% better every day, there's only 365 days in a year. You're gonna over exceed that expectation. You know what I'm saying?
And to be honest, especially for young players, and we're going to talk a bit more because you were a star too in your younger days. It's all about habits. It's all about behavior, and it kind of flows on for the rest of your career because it's what you're used to and what you do. So you make a great, interesting point there. And we're going to talk about the ANZAC Day doubleheader that you guys just had this round. 109 to 78, defeating the Penrith Panthers. 23 points, 9 from 10 shooting. It was a great game. But I want to talk in particular about the other game where you won 77 to 76 against the COE, where you got 26 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting at 48%. And more importantly, you won the Anzac Day medal. What does that mean to you?
Man, that means a lot to me. The Anzac Days, it's for the troops. Don't know too much, just background, but I know it's kind of like our 4th of July, the people who, go out and fight for their lives, what I'm saying, to protect their country. So it's a big thing to me to not only just win that award, but, be honored with that. Especially for me, I would say that would be my first award getting overseas. So for me, it's just a real special moment in time where I can, always go back and look back and be like, man, I did something special, on a special day where people gave their lives and troops came out and, presented the award. So for me, I just wanted to make sure that, my end goal was to get the award, but my biggest goal was to win. So to be able to win, do it out on home floor against a tough COE team, because when I played COE last year, we lost by 20. So for me, this is kind of like a get back game for me to be able to do that in the home court. So I was pumped and I was ready, for the opportunity to be able to come out and have a sellout crowd and being able to show everybody at Hills Hornets, what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to ask you because you played for the Inner West Bulls last year. Why the change to the Hills Hornets? What made you make that switch?
Man, I think for me to make that switch, first of all, shout out to the Inner West Bulls, because without the Inner West Bulls, I probably wouldn't be here at Hills Hornets. Everything for me started over there with the Inner West. So that's kind of like my second home. But this is right here is like home. This is my baby. Being at Hills, having the opportunity to, you have your own group, to be able to play a bigger role, bigger expectations, put more on your shoulders. That was something I always wanted. I always wanted to see, like, can you lead a group, to the finals? Can you help carry a team when they need you to get these wins? Because to be honest with you, with Inner West, we had a lot of great locals with Alex Tischer, me, Blake Murrow, Tony Tolliver. Like, we had a core 4 that any one of us can go get you 20 each night, or all 4 of us will be in the double digits. So to not have a little less talented group that you have to just build up each and every day, I enjoy the process. I want to be able to show and prove that I'm a winner on any level with any team that I go on, regardless of if that's in the Hills or in another country. Just show my value and grow up like, hey, this guy here, anywhere he goes, he wins, and he brings winning mentality, and he brings a high value, character and a standard to himself that, I'm coming here to win, and I'm going to show you guys each and every day, workout, practice, handling kids, training kids, to show them that, hey, we got the right guy. So,
and And I definitely love your mindset with that. And I know following through your journey, I kind of feel like you kind of take pride in helping others, but also you wanting to be sort of like that main man, that main focus for everyone to go, hey, look, man, just follow my lead and I'll show you guys how to be successful, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Now, my next question is, all right, round one, did it feel like a script for them to have you up against the inner West Bulls round one? And how did you feel, man? Did you get extra butterflies?
Man, round one, it's so crazy because after I signed, everybody at Bulls, they found out, probably that next maybe hour that I signed. So I had a lot of people in my DMs like over the course of the year before I'm getting here. Kids DM me like, "Hey, you going back to the West?" And, like everybody's asking me, I'm not answering any questions. I'm like, you guys gotta wait, you gotta find out. So for me, the whole signing, it being being a big deal for the NBL1, not only for that, but for me, anywhere that you sign as an import, it's a blessing because you never know when the ball drops, when the ball stops, and it's over. So to be able to be blessed to come back, and for me, it's kind of like a deja vu because for me, I had the big dunk, the first game of the season, first game against Hills that we only played once, and that was kind of like my stepping stone into, like, I guess you could say, stardom in the league. Like that's where I got really big, got noticed, putting us on the map. Us being we end up second place in the conference. We won like 9 or 10 games in a row. Unfortunately, lost to Maitland in the first round at home. But for me, it was bittersweet, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was emotional because to be able to go back and see old faces, old friends, old mates. You know, like I said, unfortunately, it didn't work out. So for me, I'm always loyal to any team that I go to. So being in there, being able to play in there one last time, that feeling, I was like, you only get one chance to do this. So, you know, go out there and give it your all. And like you said, like 26 points. I think I hit my first like I think I hit my first like 9 or 10 shots. Like it was just one of those magical nights where, you just never forget, and you get to look back on and be like, win or lose. Of course, I want to win, but win or lose, like be able to go back and do that one last time for the people in the community, the people I was able to impact over there.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful thing, man. So
Yeah, because it hit different when I saw the schedule and I saw round one. I was like, man, the guards are like just teasing you. But yeah, that's my next question. You made an interesting point about Maitland. Now, Maitland are undefeated again this season. And when I look at their sort of like their stat sheets and things like that, there's no one player that stands out. They kind of get production from every player on that roster. What makes that Maitland team special?
man, I think what made that Maitland team special is a lot of those guys, they've been around for a couple of years together. Shout out Wills Cranston. He was the MVP of the league last season. They got a couple of, like I said, they got a couple of guys that's been there for 5 years. So, they got that chemistry of knowing, like, they already know each other and know each other's spots and what gets people going. So, me even coming in this year, I knew that there would be a threat. They added an import this year. I think it's one of Will's good mates from in college. So, for us, it's we can't wait to play teams like that, them and the Canberras, the teams that's up there at the top of the food chain, and just showing that we belong up there too. We're right there too. So for me, there's definitely one of those teams to look out for the year. But we're definitely getting prepared for those matchups when it comes. I think we only played them once. So, and I think we have to play them there. So it'll be fun to go up there and try to steal us a win up there in Maitland. In their streak if we can.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, when you play, which crowd or which stadium has the best environment or atmosphere?
Man, that's a good question. Which one has the great atmosphere? Man, I would probably have to say, man, I like playing in all these gyms because I feel like I'm the villain. I like playing in all these gyms. I guess I would say, I actually probably would say, I actually think I would say Maitland. I think I would say Maitland. They have a nice gym, nice DJ, to get the crowd hype. The crowd is very engaged, very involved. They talk smack.
Yeah.
They talk
That,
smack.
to
I
be
feel like
honest,
I feel like there's every gym though. Like they talk smack, but I just love like how the gym looks. I like how the lights hit the floor. I like the environment. I know it's a small town, so they get a lot of their locals to come to their games, and plus they're they're the guys this season. So to be able to go out there in that environment, hostile environment, and and be the villain up there, like that's pretty cool. But I'm not gonna. I liked it. I like this Central Coast, like Central Coast that we just played. Like they had a pretty cool environment. They had some guys on the side talking a little smack before the game, while we're warming up and while we're shooting. But by the time it got to halftime, it got pretty quiet in there. So.
No, yeah, that's what I asked because Maitland, because in the NRL, that Newcastle region is very passionate about their teams, and I was guessing Maitland would be the same thing. So yeah, shout out Maitland, and maybe that's why they're 6-0. Fans getting them over the line.
Yeah,
Now we're going to talk about the story of the Tallahasse legend, and the reason why I say that is because going through it, it wasn't just basketball that made you sort of, I guess, a legend in the area. It was your community work and everything you've done for the area and the region. But I want to start off with what made you fall in love with the game of basketball and at what age?
I think for me, just falling in love was just like at the age of 4 or 5. I was always a tall kid growing up. I tried a couple of sports. Like I said, we talked before, like I tried football. I probably got one football award in my whole house. It probably sits in the back, collecting dust. I also did Boy Scouts growing up. And I think that me being in Boy Scouts helped my leadership, later down the line, being able to, do things in the community with them, with my other friends, and, sell popcorn, doing a lot of things that I was uncomfortable doing that now that I'm very comfortable doing. So like at the age of 4 or 5, I love playing basketball. I love, going out to the park and playing. And I was always the super tall kid. So even growing up, I was playing with guys older than me, and they was probably like 4 or 5 years younger, but I was taller than most guys. I tell people all the time, like when I was in year 5, I was already 5'11". So you can just imagine. You just imagine. Some people don't even get 6 foot. You're in year 5, you're already 5'11". You're dunking on elementary school goals. So, yeah, man, for me, 5 or 6, just growing up where I come from, really small community. It's not really a basketball town; it's more of a football town. So being able to kind of be that standstill kid, long lecky kid, what a lot of people say, hey, you got a lot of potential, and I even realized what potential really means at that age. I think I just fell in love with, the thought of like, hey, man, how good can I actually get,
And my next question is, which player did you kind of mold your game around, or who was your inspiration growing up?
Man, so my inspiration growing up was it was Michael Jordan, of course. Like Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson had the swag. He had he had hair. He had the braids. So I had braids back then growing up. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be like AI. I had like 3, 4 of those jerseys. My mom was a big Michael Jordan fan. So I think my first jersey was a Michael Jordan jersey. So they'd be able to have that. And I think I had some fours or some 5s growing up. So, of course, everybody idolized Michael Jordan at the time. But I think the guy that stood out to me the most growing up was, when LeBron James first came in the scene. Like watching Bron, even just like he's one of my biggest idols now, still to this day. Just watching him go through the adversity he had to go through as a young kid, coming in the league early and having to, be 18, 19 and lead grown men, to, the finals, and having people tell him that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And how he just, how he's a leader on and off the court. Like I really, really admire, the things that he do. And I really like watch. Like they always say, if you want to be great, you watch the people that be great. So I always be like, LeBron's playing in what, year 20, is almost 40, and he still got 3 more years to play. So to me, it's like, man, there's some people that stop playing at 30, 28, and I know me, like I want to squeeze this lemon till there's no more juice in it.
Mm.
So I take pride in taking care of my body, eating right, getting the proper sleep, stretching, yoga, weightlifting, make sure I'm in the gym every day. Because if I want to be, if I want to get somewhere close to, playing the 38, 39, 40, then I have to do the same thing that he's doing. And it's not the easiest thing to do. It's really a lifelong dedication with a lot of sacrifices that you have to go through, but once you do it and you get to the end of the road, all the reward and success would, it'll be worth it at the end.
Yeah, because you made a great point there about LeBron James. I remember during the draft day, a lot of the Cleveland Cavalier players were like, "Bro, we don't need him. He's not supposed to come in and be the leader, be the face of the franchise." And man, I remember that first game against Sacramento Kings. Man, wow, his assist, his shots, everything just fell into place. And then from there till now, I know you're a big Lakers fan. So you've been following LeBron James and the Lakers, but we will talk a bit more about that later on. I promise you. Now, fast forward a bit, you go to Rickards High School, two-time state champion, Florida Player of the Year, a perfect season, 32-0. Tell me about that time of your life.
Man, that high school around that time of my life was a lot. Like it was fun. I had some adversities, but it's where it's probably for me where basketball really started to like really click, and like things really started to show at a high rate. I would say like going into my 9th grade year, being fresh out of middle school, I only got to play half the season. I didn't have the grades the second half of the season. Wasn't doing the things that I need to do, for the team. And I was a young guy on an older group, but I had a point in that time where I was starting as a 9th grader, not even realizing still not even realizing my impact at that time, like just being fresh in. And I remember like seniors being upset and being mad with me because, they're seniors, this their last run. You got this freshman coming in, taking some of your minutes, playing at the end of the games. So my first year was rocky. It was rocky for me, just learning how much academics is really important. How did I need to be able to do the things I need to do if I want to continue to play basketball. So after my 9th grade year, I got it together. Going into my 10th grade year, had a really good season. We ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs. I probably never forget this. It was probably one of the darkest moments of my high school career, because we played a team. I think it's a team called Pensacola. We played them like they wasn't even on our schedule. We played them one time, and at that time we was beating everybody. So, not saying we took them for granted, but we was like, oh yeah, like we gonna go ahead and beat them. Like they came in and they spanked us. Like they woke us up. It was like whoa. So we got the opportunity, played them again, second round of the playoffs. It ended up becoming a real close game, coming down to the wire. Ended up coming down to one of our senior guys. He got fouled, and we was down 2, so he needed to hit both free throws for the game to keep going. It was probably like 2 seconds on the clock. He hit the first one. He missed the second one. Man, when I tell you, it was such, and this was our best shooter. This is our best shooter at the time.
The pressure.
Man, best shooter. And I remember like the second one missed, the ball dropped and that horn rang. And I remember, man, like I remember people in the crowd was crying. We was crying. And I'll never forget, and I think we needed that, because that moment set us up for the next 2 years. Like I remember being downstairs in the locker room, in the weight room, we all downstairs, like towel over our face, everybody crying, and then like we took it upon ourselves, really, like we was hurting so bad. It kind of reminded me of, you remember when the Heat beat the Spurs and the Spurs felt like they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It felt like one of those. So going in that next day, like usually it's summer, you take some time off, you do some AAU, you do all that other stuff, travel. We didn't do that. Like the very next day, we all got up and was like, nah, we weren't supposed to go out like that. Like, nah, we got some unfinished business. And I kid you not, from that next day on, we won 2 tournaments over the summer, undefeated. And then we went through my whole junior year. We went undefeated throughout the whole year, 32-0. Ended up playing Brandon Knight in the championship game down in Lakeland, Florida. He went to Pinecrest, and we was the underdogs. Like we remember, like hearing the broadcasters, like, and this was before he was going to go to Kentucky. So they like, oh, playing this team Rickards, from up north. They're from the South Side. They're like, oh yeah, this should be an easy one. So we always been the underdog. So we like, all right, like no, we ain't going for that. We don't care. See, my group, we didn't care who we played. There was no egos. People knew their roles on the team. We just all knew we was dogs. And regardless if you thought that, we were so used to people talking about us, saying like, oh, people around the city thinking that they was going to beat us, talking mess on Facebook at the time. Like, it was like, nah, man, we're focused. We're not hearing none of that. So we went down there, ended up being Brandon Knight by about 25. He was averaging 40 for the tournament. And he only ended up with, I think, only 18 points, and he fouled out. So that was my junior year. Going into my senior year, I ended up being one of, I was the big focal point, but we was a longer team. Like, it was way longer. We had way more athletes, way more taller guys than we did my junior year. So going in my senior year, we had a little bit of adversity. Like my star point guard, Jakari Bush, he was playing football. He ended up breaking his forearm before the season.
Ouch.
Yeah. He broke his forearm before the season. So we had to start the season without our main guy. And then towards Christmas, I ended up having a bad high ankle sprain. Ended up being out for like almost a month. So we ended up losing maybe 6 or 7 games in the span of 2 years. That was it. But after he recovered, he came back. I did everything in my power to come back, and we win the tournament. We win the tournament, man. We went out there and we got it done. I think we ended up winning that game by like 8 or 9. That was actually a more tougher year, but we ended up going back to back, and we was like, yo, if we get to Lakeland, there's no way we're not coming home with no jury. Like, there's no way. Like, we get to Lakeland, we're basically there. We're there. So we get there, it's time to handle business and get things done. So, shout out to Rickards, man. That's like, I bleed that blue and gold, man. Like, that school helped make me who I was, that discipline, hard work, working every day. That was definitely a big foundation for me, and a real fun time in my life with guys that I was able to grow up with, fight, fuss, and cuss with, have these battles with, each and every
You
day,
still keep in
man.
contact with them? Like, you still in contact with a few of those boys from those teams? Because that's something that...
I'm in contact with all my guys, man. Like, I got one of my guys, he's gonna get married, like, probably in the next couple of months, that played with me. I actually recruited him over from another school. I was like, hey, man,
You got to come down.
Come over here, man. I get you one, for your last year. Like, come over here. So I convinced him. And it was actually one of my good best friends that I grew up with in Boy Scouts. So, to help him get one his final year. He didn't end up playing, after that, but just for him to have a ring and be able to say that, what I'm saying, get him to come over,
part of the journey.
Yeah, be able to trust and believe in his boy that could, help you get him done. Like, that was pretty special for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because once you experience a memory like that, you build lifelong friendships that you never forget. Because a sporting season, you go through the ups and downs, you go through the flows, and as you said, that year 9 when you lost that game that you shouldn't, when you guys all got back there together, that's a brotherhood, and that's something that you don't ever forget. And that goes because in Australia we don't really have those big high school tournaments, college and things like that. So it's a bit different,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same sort of concept. Especially if you play team sport, you understand exactly what Chris is talking about. Now, after your sort of high school, you went to college,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you kind of went through a bit of a roller coaster journey during your college period. Do you
Crazy.
want to talk more about that? And in particular, because there's one, because I know you went to Fishburne Military as your first one, and there was a line that kind of really, really intrigued me, and kind of feels like it shaped you up to the man that you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped mold me to be my own person and how to utilize my time to get better and not waste time. So I just want to ask you about that period of your career, that 4 year period of college. What did you get out of it?
Yeah, man, college was, man. I tell you, man, I didn't think that, like, I didn't think my college career was gonna be like so up and down like that. So, coming out of high school, um, there's this thing in the States where you have to have like a certain score where you take like a test. They call it the ACT score. So it's like math, science, reading, and something else, social studies. You gotta like take this test. You have to hit like a certain score, for you to be able to go into college. So I didn't have the score to be able to go directly in. So I need to go to a prep school. So went to a prep school called Fishburne Military. Man, I never forget. I never forget that day either. Like, it was up in Waynesboro, Virginia. I remember like my first day. Like I remember like being on the road after getting off the plane, sleep. My mom and them drive me to the school, and I get to the school and it's like this big old castle. It's like this big old castle, and I see people in like army suits. I see kids, buttons dressed up to the top.
Mm.
I'm like, man, what is this? Like, what did I
Different
sign myself?
universe.
Yeah, like, what did I sign myself up for? Yeah. But very grateful for that time because in that 1 year in military prep school, it taught me discipline. Be around, Army vets, people who, fought for their lives, hearing those backstories, having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning for the raise of the flag, make sure that my bed had to be made, my blanket had to be a certain way each and every morning. I had to be
Mm.
dressed down to the T, to shoes tied, button. I can't be missing anything. We out like all the kids, everybody downstairs for the raise of the flag, and be able to play at a high level there. Had a really good coach there, and it wasn't a lot of things to do there. It was just the school, and it was just like mountains where you could just watch the seasons change. So I was like, I wasn't used to that type of environment because I'm more
Mm.
of a city guy. So I'm just like almost in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like, yo, it's just you, these kids, your teammates, and you gotta just like, you gotta make the most out of it.
Mm.
So like I said, it taught me how to not waste time. Was able to do my schoolwork. We did our schoolwork in the morning, and then after that, we had like all the time until practice to do weights, get in the gym, because there's nothing else to do. Ain't nothing else to do. Like I could probably go down the street to get my hair cut, but that was it. If I wanted to go to Walmart, I had to call my coach and be like, "Hey, can you take us to Walmart and get some stuff?" You know what I'm saying? Ordering pizza or eating what they got in the cafeteria. So it just showed me just hey, you got a little bit more time now. Don't waste time just like being in your room, being on a computer. I barely had a TV. So can you imagine, like, I ain't had no cable. It wasn't no
Mm.
cable. So I had to do everything on the computer. So I was like, man, this is just your time to like bond with your guys, but go get better. Like get yourself out of this situation so you could be in a better one. So that was kind of like my first year. I left there, ended up going to Florida Atlantic University down there in Boca Raton, Florida. Went there my freshman year, so it was like I'm back in Florida, so I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm back in
Back home.
Florida, down south, beach. I'm like really a freshman, so it's like, oh, okay, now I get the real, college
Mm.
experience. Women, friends, like just being in a whole different environment with, thousands of people, and you kind of just gotta like do stuff on your own. Like you gotta learn how to get to class. You gotta learn your schedule. You gotta learn like, where do I go? When do I eat? What time's practice? We used to practice in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. So getting up, making sure I get something to eat, and then go to practice, and then not only that, like getting a ride to class, but going to class and going to 3-4 classes throughout the day. You know what I'm saying, and just utilizing my time. So my first year was good as far as like just mentally, learning how to be an adult, being a young adult on my own. But not only that, but just building the relationship with, all the other freshmen that I had on my team. Like one of my best
Sorry,
friends that's still playing, he played in the
sorry,
CBA.
Chris, if you don't mind me asking, during the whole college experience, like at Florida, and you said you were a freshman, do
Mm-hmm.
freshmen get to play, or is it kind of like one of those pecking orders too, where you kind of just bide your time?
Man, it was kind of one of those. It was kind of one of those pecking orders for me because we had a lot of seniors. We had a lot of juniors and seniors, so I didn't get to play as much. One of my best friends, Stephen Moody, he's actually playing right now in the CBA. Shout out to him. That's like that was my freshman roommate. He got the chance to show his talents and play. He won us a big game versus we almost lost to like a small community college, which was gonna look bad for us. But yeah, it was gonna look bad. But he got the opportunity, he was able to drop 20. So shout out to him. But for me, I kind of just had to like just fight, like learn how to be tougher, learn the college game, people pulling on you, grabbing on you, different tactics, that I wasn't used to, coming from that high school going to college. That's like, oh, these are things you can get away with. So for me, I wish I had more of an opportunity because I was really talented, but we just had a lot of guys on that team that deserved to play for their last year, their junior and senior year, going into that last year. So,
And then you found yourself at Miami University. How did that go? And after that experience, or during your time at the Miami University, was the NBA a legitimate prospect, or were you kind of too far off the radar?
my Miami was a good experience. School wise and basketball wise, it was okay. We didn't do too good. I like my last 2 years there. It was kind of rocky. We was barely over 500. I feel like we wasn't playing a style that fit everybody. I think we was playing too slow, and a lot of us wanted us to. We had a lot of guys, as you can see now, like we're a fast group, and I'm a player that plays fast. Not saying I can't play slow, but I just feel like we had a group that we wasn't able to just maximize our potential. But far as the school and a culture, I love Miami. One of the things is love and honor. So I always keep that. That's one thing I always keep with me. Like, do anything that you do it with love, and take honor, take pride into it. So definitely shout out Miami University up there in Oxford, Ohio. After the season, I feel like I was probably maybe too far under the radar. We didn't. It was more of a mid-major school. We made it to the conference tournament. We made it to our conference tournament only one time in those 2 year span. So I never even got a taste of playing the national tournament to be able to just
Showcase your.
showcase my talent. But I did have fortunately I had a tryout with the Magics later on down the line of my career.
I want to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot here a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that there's sort of a lot of high school kids that kind of are, in a way, like the star player of their team.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them to kind of maximize and reach their potential during the whole sort of college period? Because, as you know, man, a lot of kids these days, their egos go up a bit. They kind of lose track, get sidetracked, and you lose that chance because in this sort of industry and in this business, you kind of need to get lucky, but you got to make your own luck, if that makes sense. So what advice would you give any young up and coming player?
Man, I'll give any up and coming player, I would tell them, work your ass off. Like, you have to work. Like, the people, I always tell people, because like you said, people get the big head because of their environment, where they are, maybe they're the best player where they are. But you got to think about it. If you think about basketball in a grand scheme of things, everybody in the world is trying to get an NBA.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world, you know, is working, and you think that okay, that you're the guy. That's all cool, but can you just have a great work ethic? Like I said, it's habits. Are you in the gym 3-4 times a day, or are you just in there 1 time a day? Because if you're in there only 1 or 2 times a day, it's gonna show. Because I tell our young guys, it's somebody across the world that they done got up at 5 o'clock, got their workout in, and they're gonna get another workout in at like 9 or 10 o'clock, and you just getting your first workout in. So for me, to tell all the young guys, it's you versus everybody. Everybody in the world, because everybody wants to play basketball, and there's only 450 spots in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Because I think back in the day, it was kind of more of an American concept, the NBA, but now it's sort of branching off worldwide, man. There's people coming from all sorts of country, Africa, Europe, Australia, even. So the game's growing. So yeah, everyone's got to put the work in, and also in my personal thing is you got to remain humble and stay grounded. And if you do that, and as you said, as what Chris said, you work your ass off, you'll get noticed, and you'll get your chance where. That's when it's on you to kind of showcase to the world and to the scouts what you have.
Yeah, man. I'll say you just work, continue to work, and just, don't get complacent. Stay humble, But when you get on that court, like that's your time from all the time that you was in the gym, maybe struggling to shoot, and then you found it. You up 3-4 times working out. You go to the gym 2 times a day. You hurting, you sore. Your mental getting to you like, man, I don't feel like working out today. But then you got to think like, man, it's somebody out there that's hurting too. But he like, nah, I'm gonna go get it. So you gotta just go out there and go get it. It's not impossible. It's definitely in your reach. And when you have the opportunity to showcase your talent, that's when you let all that work show. All that work is gonna show. You know what I'm saying? One day or another, but it's just like you want to be ready for when that opportunity comes, because you never know when it's gonna come.
And now I'm going to fast forward to another opportunity that you had. You signed a professional contract in Russia, and that's when COVID sort of hit. And when that got taken away, how did you sort of cope mentally, and how did that affect you? Because you'll probably, I think at that time, your career was kind of like at the borderline, at the crossroads. You didn't know exactly what you wanted to do, what was your next step. So how was that setback, and how did you cope with it?
Man, yeah, that was another big trials and tribulations. I remember that. Like I remember me signing, and like everybody in the city, like so happy for me, knowing how hard I work and how much they see me in the gym working out. Be able to sign that, and then to have COVID, something that we never seen before, ever in this lifetime, that literally stops the world, like right at that time. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy, that it happened to. But I know for me, like you said, it was one of those crossroads, like trying to find the right agent, trying to find the right deal that, that works for me, that's gonna, that I can cope with, and I can, start to, just really build my career off of. And for me, it was one of those times where I'm like, man, like, am I supposed to be doing basketball? Like, is this really, am I just chasing something that's like is already done and I'm wasting my time? And man, I would just say for me, it was just one of those things where that mental toughness come in, and I was like literally, I was like, man, like you're gonna remember this time, and you're gonna be able to tell your story. So your story doesn't stop now. This is just a part of. It's just one chapter in your life. It's not the end of the road, but it's one chapter, and you're being tested to see if, are you gonna push through, or are you gonna give up? Like, are you gonna continue to push when even more stones have been thrown your way, and when you was right there at the door and the door gets shut? Are you gonna still just, you keep knocking? And like that was one of those things where I was just like, nah, man, I'm gonna keep going. Like, I was like, I'm gonna be able to tell this story one day, and it's gonna be amazing. Somebody's not gonna be able to believe me when I tell them. So I just, I thank God each and every day for all those moments, because it shaped me to, who I am, to be humble, to, not only that, but I think it's just like I'm getting all my blessings now from all those trials and tribulations that I went through, before even getting to this point. So like me with all the success I've been getting, I'm not surprised because I know how much, trauma and, sad days and hard days that I've been
Mm,
through by myself, like just thinking like, man, am I supposed to be doing this?
mm,
Or man, I'm working out and like what am I working out for? Like I could be working, I could be going into a whole nother career, starting a whole new life,
mm.
but I never gave up. So I thank God for all those moments, man.
I know it sounds weird, but I feel like the your sort of 1 year chapter at Fishburne Military kind of really shaped you where it wasn't what you wanted, but you kind of were able to sort of fight through it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you said, everything does happen for a reason. And the next thing that came up for you was the Tallahasse Southern Kings, your home local team.
Mm-hmm.
You were sort of star signing for that team. What was that experience like playing in front of your home fans again?
Yeah, man. I'm not. Yeah, that experience was that was a good experience. So like that was right after the COVID thing. I actually started working at my old elementary school at the time as being a behavior specialist, but still working out too at the same time. And I remember like on the local news with the whole TBL, the basketball league. Shout out to the basketball league because I'm one of those products. Where when I found out that we was getting a team, I'm like, yo,
Sign me up.
this is it. Like this is the door. Like this is the door. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
this is it. Like this is the one. Like, okay, do whatever that you got to do to not only make the team, but ball out. Like get your film. Get your numbers up. Help lead the team. And like you said, being able to play in my hometown. You know, being more experienced, being an adult, a lot of people not being able to see me play in college and all that, and even after, for them to get a taste of like, oh, this is what I was in high school, this is what I look like now.
Hmm.
Being able to showcase even more from what they known of me back then. It was a blessing, man, to be able to do that. Had a lot of local support, had a lot of fans come out, had a lot of people buy jerseys. And like you said, I was the guy on that team. Like 25, 26 points, 12 rebounds. Ended up getting player of the week 1 week for that for that organization. End up think top 5 or top 7 in scoring. My field goal was like over 75%. It was crazy, like just numbers out of this world, crazy.
So,
Um,
so I got two questions from that sort of experience that you had.
yeah.
Did you get to play with any of your sort of old school high school teammates?
Yeah, so I actually got to play with like some guys that I didn't get to play with or that I played against
Hmm.
around the city because we had 6 locals, me included, and then we had 6 guys from all across the world come. So I was able to meet some guys, show them around, but also get to play with some guys that you know that might have been a little bit younger, might have been a little bit older, and we all went to different schools.
Hmm.
But have us all compete on
Yeah,
the same
try to
team. It
achieve
was
the
like,
same dream too.
yo,
Yeah,
this is pretty cool, like to be able to do something like that. So
'cause it's kind of like you're just playing a professional pickup game, if that makes sense.
yeah, almost in a sense. But we traveling, so we had our ups and our downs on that team. We had just like any other team would. Like we had our trials and tribulations, but to be able to have that experience with those guys and work out with guys that I ain't never get to really work out with, and be putting the work in every day, and they get to watch me work out and see how
Hmm.
how professional I am, and they mold themselves after me, to be the best player that they can be. Man, it was that was a beautiful thing. And then not only that, I'm still working at the same time. So I got I'm telling all the kids,
Yeah, they
come
all
to the
looking up to you.
come to the games. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, go get your tickets, come to the game, man. So that was huge to be able to do that and be working at elementary school to have, you know, 5th graders, 4th graders, 3rd graders be like, hey man, I came and watch you play, like you was
Hmm.
really good. I'm working and kids ask me like, man, pull up your highlights, pull up, like I see you
Yeah,
play. I'm like, man, I can't do that right now. I'm trying to be professional, like, you know what I'm
and
saying? So,
that,
that right there was pretty special. And then, as you know, a lot of people don't get to know is that, after I was able to go back to my elementary school, once I actually signed to NOS. But even before I went to NOS, I had my small stint with the Orlando Magics. Was able to work out with them, play with those guys for a little bit. Unfortunately, I had tendonitis in my left knee, and it actually flared up like really bad to the point where I had to go to a physical therapist. So that was another small setback for me, having to come home. Could barely walk because my knee is swollen, full of fluid. Can't even like move it because I can't feel like anything in my knee. So having to go through that small period. After that, I tried out for a team in the Canadian League, Windsor Express up in Chicago. Tried out for them, and it was looking like I was trying to go to Canada, because the team liked me. Was able to work out in front of the owners. I think it was probably like over 250 people there. I got invited back, and they wanted me to come back in December for another small workout, just to make sure. So I'm like, man, like, I'm kind of just like leaning towards that way. And then after that, I guess I go ahead and tell this quick story of how the whole NOS thing came about. I was doing all my networking on LinkedIn, right? So everywhere I went and tried out at, I'm posting it on LinkedIn, trying to build my following, building my page up to be professional as possible. And then a coach that I played against, that's actually one of my good mentors, good friends. His name Demarcus Berry. He's from the States, but he actually coached out here for Sutherland. Right now is coaching in the Japanese B League as a head coach, first-time head coach. So shout out to him. They made it to the playoffs, I think, in the second round. I think their season just ended. But I remember, man, it was Thanksgiving back in the States, and I'm at my best friend's house. And I'm like, what is everybody doing right now in the world? Like, it's Thanksgiving. Like, most people probably sitting down, eating, on their phones, watching football, right? So I'm like, man, this would be a good time to make a post. Just make another post, like, let people know that you're available. This, that, and the third. So I made a post, and thank God to this day that I made that post. I made a post like saying, hey, I'm available. 684. Put all my stuff up, resume, put everything up. Just networking. And I kid you not, my guy Demarcus, I ended up playing his team. He had a team in the TBL2 called Tampa Bay Titans. So I played against his team. I used to get him 30 every time. I get him 30 piece every time. So, but I didn't really know him. Like, I didn't know him at the time. Just played against him.
Yeah.
But this is when things start to align. God start to, place people in your life. I made the post on Thanksgiving, man. I kid you not. Demarcus, he was still coaching in the Japanese B League, but he was as an assistant coach. He ended up tagging a coach under my
That's
post.
how he got done.
Yeah, he ended up tagging Daniel Kim. That was my head coach for NOS Bulls. Shout out to my guy, Daniel Kim. That's my guy.
I actually reached out to Daniel. I might get him on the show in a couple of weeks too, once he's back in Sydney.
Yeah, man. Good dude, man. Good dude. That's that's like my brother, man. Even though that's my coach, that's like my brother. We talk all the time. He always challenged me, each and every week. Even now, to this day, he even challenged me like, "Oh, this guy better than you." This is like try to push my buttons, but Demarcus made the post. I mean, he put the comment under the post. And then I don't know who Daniel Kim is. So I click it and I look. I see Adelaide 36ers on there. I'm like, okay. I see head coach in the West Bulls. I'm like, oh, this NBL1. I'm like, oh yeah. So I remember Demarcus, he ended up DMing me and was like, hey man, I think this right here would be a good situation for you. I see how hard you've been working out. I see how hard you've been pushing. And I feel like this could help you, with your journey. But he was like, ain't nothing gonna be given to you. You gotta earn it. So I told him, I got the DM to this day. I'm like, say less. It's already done. The job is mine. It's already done. So after that, ended up connecting with Daniel Kim, and we ended up building our relationship while I was in the States, doing film work together. Him getting to know me, him getting to talk to other coaches that I played for previously, about me and my character and my work ethic. And, man, we clicked really really well to not even like know each other, officially.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I think it was closer to Christmas. Like I said, we was talking. I'm still like kind of leaning towards going to Canada at the time, and I never forget being at a friend's house and I'm getting that call. Man, he said he wanted to offer me a contract to come play in Australia for NBL1. I was like, wow.
And you make an interesting point there because, man, when you played against the Tampa team, you performed. And that's the thing. If you perform, you never know who's watching. You never know who's looking, who can give you that lucky break, who can tag you in a post and say, hey, man, look, I can vouch for this guy. He's the real deal. Or he can give you 1, 2, 3, 4. And, man, he brought you to Australia. And my next question is, what's next for Chris Bryant? What's your goal?
Man, my goal for this year, I want us to finish top 4 seeding, in the East. My personal goals, I want to get MVP this year. I want to get MVP, but not only that, I want to win a championship. I'm trying to get All-Star 5 because if you ask me last year, I feel like I got snubbed. Like I didn't get All-Star 5. I didn't get MVP. So this whole summer, this whole break, I took all that personally for me. Like I took all that personally. Like, anytime I ain't feel like working out, was tired. I'm like, you ain't get MVP last year. You ain't get All-Star 5 last year. What you doing? Like, nah, like that instantly, I'm up. Like I'm up. I got something to prove. So each and every day, like before getting back out here, I'm like, hey man, I got something to prove. I gotta put the work in. You put the work in, when the season comes, everything will show, all that work, all that time that you put in, 3-4 times in the gym. I was 3-4 times in the gym. I was 2 times in the weight room. Like I wasn't going out. I wasn't partying. I was strictly business, going home, resting, watching film. I record my workouts to watch how I'm shooting, things that I need to do to get better. Asking, my trainer questions about like, hey, what you feel like, what we need to do. I averaged 20 and 10 this year. What I need to do to average 25, 26, and 12 for the next season. Let's work for the next season. Let's let's go ahead and get the ball rolling.
Now, I've got to ask you, you're wearing the number 24. You got the surname Bryant, and you kind of got that sort of Mamba mentality that you're just talking about right now. Is Kobe Bryant any reason why you wear number 24?
Yeah, man, for sure. Like, even that whole story of how I wear 24 is crazy.
When did it start?
It started in high school. It started after my 9th grade year. So my 9th grade year, like I said, my biggest idol was
the 32-0 season was the debut of 24.
Yeah, I was 24 then, but my 10th grade, my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I was 24, but my 9th grade I was 23 because Michael Jordan, LeBron James, but after my 9th grade year, we got new jerseys. And my birthday is June 23rd. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, 23 is me. So that's what I'm thinking. So, after my 9th grade year, we didn't have 23. We got all new jerseys. They got rid of all the old jerseys. And they didn't have 23. So I was actually wearing 2 numbers, going into my 10th grade year, I was wearing 31 and I was wearing 32. And I forgot why I was wearing 31. I think Reggie Miller was wearing 31. I can't remember who was wearing 32. I'm pretty sure it was like, I don't know, maybe Magic Johnson. Like, it was one of those guys. So I was like, but it just wasn't like,
It wasn't you.
It wasn't hit. It just wasn't hitting the same. It wasn't hitting the same, man. I promise it wasn't hitting the same. And then it was like, I'm like, man, I don't really like these numbers. Like, then I see 24. Like 24 is available, and I think that's probably around the time where Kobe switched. When he switched over
8 to 24.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna wear 24, man. I'm gonna be Kobe. And I promise you, and I don't know if it's like some superstition, but it was like when I switched to 24, I feel like everything in my life changed. Like I got immediately better.
Got the extra
I start,
confidence.
like I said, start winning awards, start MVPs, Player of the Year. I'm like, oh no, 24 is me. Like this, anywhere I go, I'm wearing 24. Like, I gotta wear 24. And then
Funny. Sorry, I was just gonna say it's funny how a number can make a massive difference to someone's mentality.
Yeah. And the only other number I wore was 7, and that was with Southern Kings, and that's because they ain't have 24. But I still played good. But having that 24. And my last name being Bryant, which is a unique last name in general because not a lot of people with it. And then to come to another country the first year when I got here, like I remember
everyone's got to ask. Everyone's asking you.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that too. But it was just like for me, I'm like I remember like when I'm getting on the plane, I'm flying over, I'm on this 14-hour flight. It's just me and my thoughts. I'm like, man, what are you gonna do to have a big impact over here in Australia, and how quick can you do it? And man, like how quickly I was able to do it is like unprecedented. Like it's unheard of, I feel like. And it just all aligns together with my last name being Bryant, me wearing the number 24 and loving 24. Like I said, having that Mamba mentality, having that killer instinct every time I get on the floor, no matter who it is we play against. I feel like I'm the best player and we're the best team, and I'm going to show you, why I'm here. That I'm gonna be a force to be reckoned with every single time that you guys got to deal with me. So for me, and then like you said, every gym that I go to, Kobe. Even the kids at Hills, are you related to Kobe? Like I'm like, yo, I've been hearing this.
I gotta ask you. I saw a footage of your last game where you did that little step back 3, and then you kind of looked to one of the fans, I guess, and said something. What was said there?
Actually, I was looking towards my bench. Like my bench was on that side. So, Jamie gave me the pass. He gave me the pass in the post, and I kind of bobbled it, so I had to like get it, turn it face up. Some things I had just been working on. I'm just like, all right, I'm turning face up. Like let me get hit with a set move. And I just remember like looking at my peripherals, like how close I am to the 3. I'm like, if I get this space, it's going up. So I hit him with the, I told him to move, get out the way, tween, step back. And I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, feel it.
I shot it and went in. And then I just hear my guys on the bench like, yeah. I turn around like, yeah. I'm trying to tell you, yeah. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? Like, what's wrong with him?
Man, because personally, whenever I see your game and your stats, man, I feel like if you can sort of just, I guess, fine tune that sort of 3-pointer and get that more sort of consistent, MVP is definitely up there for you. It's a real possibility.
Yeah, man. I think it's just a matter of me just shooting them in the game. To be honest with you, like everybody here can tell you, like I shoot a high clip, but I'm so in tune of getting like the best shot, the right shot, like to where maybe I don't take as many as I should, but it's just like, okay, if I hit a couple, then it's like you said, it's like, oh, that can turn my 26 to like a 35. So it's just for me, when I have the opportunities, just shoot them. Because everybody know, like my coach tell me all the time in practice, he'd be like, okay, yeah, you had a 3, you passed it up, you got to the rim, but you need to shoot that 3. And I'm like, you know what?
Because for me personally, I feel like, because as you were mentioning throughout the whole show, you kind of started as that 5, sort of playing the 4. So shooting the 3 was never really something that was your game. Does that make sense? So
yeah, I'll tell you a funny thing. Like, I don't know if like I could see in the future, but like when I was in high school, I just knew it was gonna become a time where they was gonna start letting bigger guys handle the ball, bigger guys shoot the ball, bigger guys have bigger roles than just being like
setting screens and picks.
Yeah, because I was never really that type. I was really like, I was playing a 5 in high school, but I was really a stretch 4 in high school because I was, You could say probably in high school I had a game like KG. I had that 15, 17 footer. I could 3-point line in. I can, make 1 or 2 moves, get to the rim, dunk on you, or, make a nice move, had a nice little turnaround, nice hook. Like, I had all those things, and I just seen the game evolving. And especially like when you had Dirk, like Dirk Nowitzki was one of the taller guys that was just like, he could handle the ball, shoot the ball, bring the ball down, get into his spots. And it's like, yo, it's going to become a time where you can't really teach height. Like, you can learn the skill, but you can't teach height. So if you got a 6'8", 6'9" shooting guard, or a 6'8", 6'9" point guard, or a 6'8", 6'9" wing, you got the advantage. So for me, like, I take pride in, working on my handles, coming off screens. And that's why I said even like this year, I'm able to show even more of a package of my game, because I feel like I just have an all-around game. Like, it's not really too much that I can't do. Like, if I need to push the break, I'm pushing it. My coach give me the green light. Like, hey, you get off the rim, go. Because now these 4 and 5s that's in our league, they're either too big or they're the same size, and they don't have the same capability that I have, and I know that. So it's just taking advantage of the mismatch each and every time, or each and every opportunity that I can. If that's if he's too far back, I'm shooting a 3. If he's too close, I'm instantly I'm going by him. So I just play the matchup and situational game. Just try to take advantage of what the teams need at the time.
And I feel like you mentioned it's kind of like the way LeBron James plays. And that's the kind of the way I see, in a way, your game, if that makes sense. You kind of always try to find the best shot. You can play make, pass it out to your teammates. So, yeah, definitely MVP is a real possibility, and I'll be keeping a close eye on that, man. So, fingers crossed. And now we're going to talk a bit. Now we're going to talk a bit of NBA. You talk about your LA Lakers. They avoided the sweep. Do you give them any chance next game against Denver at Denver?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Besides that game that we just won, surprisingly, we haven't beat them since like 2002.
It's been a long run, 11-0.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, I don't know what it is with my Lakers, man. We just like we can't close games, but I just feel like Denver is just like our. Denver's just that. Yeah, it's just that team where I wish we didn't get that matchup. I wish we would have got like a OKC. I wish we could have got that matchup, and then let Minnesota play against Denver. Minnesota play against Denver and let them battle it out. But that's just kind of like our kryptonite, man. Joker. I actually went to go see Joker play in person up in Denver, and it looks just like how it does on TV. Like, it looks slow, it looks methodical, but you can't stop it, man. He just like, I remember watching him play, and I'm just like, man, this guy don't do nothing flashing. I look up at the scoreboard, 30, 10, and 10. I'm like,
how?
What in the world? But I understand, because like Joker has a great advantage, because I feel like every shot or every time down the floor he has a 2-for-1. And when I say 2-for-1,
gets the rebound.
He either's gonna make the shot, or he's gonna make the pass and they make the shot, or he's gonna get the rebound and then he's gonna put it back up. So he always has a chance to put 1 or 2 on the stat sheet. So even if he miss it, he get the rebound, miss it again, get the rebound. All right, I'm gonna pass it this time. So now I got 2 rebounds and an assist.
Yeah.
Or I got 2 rebounds and a score. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
he's a threat. He's a threat every time down the court.
Yeah, because for me personally, the way the Denver Nuggets are constructed, they are the perfect team. They are literally built around Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, and bro, it's just set because everyone knows their role. You look at all these other teams when it kind of gets to the fourth quarter, no one really knows exactly where to go, who's going to hold the ball, but Denver know exactly what play they're running, and it works every time.
Yeah, man. I mean, it kind of goes back to like the high school team. Like, everybody knows their role. Nobody's too bigger than the role, and like, the unexpected people step up. Like Jamal Murray, like he hasn't been an all-star. He's never been He's never been in first team, second team. But man, when he comes to the playoffs, he's an all-star. He's an all-star caliber guy. Like, each and every time, like,
now,
man, they're just good, man. Great team. But I feel like my Lakers, they're definitely finna they finna punch their ticket. They finna come to Cancun's, man. They finna go to Cancun.
They're done.
But they finna come to Australia. One of them.
Who's your favorite to come out of the West and the East?
Man, right now, man, I'm gonna give it to Minnesota. Watching their game today, I watched their game today against Phoenix
Suns,
and how they put them away. And Booker had like 45, KD had like 35, and Anthony Edwards just looking like he's the face of the league right now. Like everything he do, is like a highlight reel. They're big, with Cat, Rudy Gobert.
Daniels,
like I think they got the sixth man of the year.
Nas Reed,
Mike
Conley, solid vet also.
Mike Conley, like they gotta like Anthony Edwards was the piece for them, like the whole piece for them to take them to that next level.
Supposed to be,
yeah, and I think he's here, man. Like to be honest with you, that Denver, I feel like whoever wins that out of that series is going to the finals.
Nah, definitely. Now, at Love of the Game, we have a question that I'm going to put to you and just need your answer to rank these 5 players. All right, so we got Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, Shea, Jalen Brunson, and Tyrese Haliburton. I need you to rank them in order from 5 to 1. Got to put you on the spot, but we've got to end the show in style.
Yeah. You want me to go 1 through 5 or 5
nah,
to
5
1?
to 1, 5 to 1. Put some drama to it.
Okay. Okay, I'm putting Tyrese 5th. I'm putting Tyrese Haliburton 5th. And I like Tyrese too. I like Tyrese. Nice young up and coming guy for Indiana. Funky shot. I don't know how he gets it off, but I think he's the new age Chris Paul. I think he'll be like the new age Chris Paul. Let me see. I got Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic,
SGA and Brunson.
I'm putting Brunson 4th. Nice lefty. I think he's proven himself and proven the New York, like, he is that guy.
Yeah, he belongs there.
He's having an amazing year. Then I'm gonna go Luka 3rd. I'm going Luka man 3rd. I like Luka. I feel like he's the slow man's LeBron. The slow man's LeBron. He'll get to every spot that he wants to get to. He's been a pro since he's 13. Yeah. Like, people forget that he's only like 24. Like,
that's the thing. He tripped me out. I saw a stat where he's younger than SGA, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
he's been around forever.
Like, what? And I feel like he's been in the league like 7 years. It's crazy.
So 2 and 1. Who do we got?
2 and 1. Man, these last 2 is like, it's a coin flip because SGA is having an MVP year and will be the MVP this year. And it's kind of been one of those guys I've been watching a little bit more as far as his pace and how he just
gets these
to his midi. Yeah, because he's shooting like one of the highest percentage from the mid range. Like he's not missing. Like, but his team too, like how his team put him in a position to be able to utilize him at his talent at a high rate is really good. And I like OKC as a young group because they have no superstars and they was the number 1 team in the West this year. I'm gonna go for that 2nd spot. I'm going SGA.
SGA.
I'm going SGA, even though I think he's gonna be the MVP. He's having a hell of a year. Like, he better get MVP. I don't think nobody else deserves it more than him. I'm going him. Then I'm going Ant-Man. I feel like Ant is like the new age Michael Jordan, man.
And that's why I feel like you went Ant, because Michael Jordan was your man, and Ant delivers the highlight plays, man. The way he plays is unbelievable. And he's not afraid to trash talk too.
Right, and that's like we have a lot of similarities. Like, I think he's from Georgia, and we're not probably like Georgia and Florida is like right there, and those are like 2 states where it's nothing but trash talk. So I come from nothing but trash talk. So it's like I tell my teammates all the time, you can look at me wrong, you can breathe around me wrong. I'll be like, oh, why you breathing around me? And it gets me fired up. So it's like just having that confidence, being able to have that talk, being able to back it up. being a star caliber player. But I like his movements. Like, not saying that he will be Michael Jordan, but he got that Michael Jordan-esque to his game.
No, definitely.
Like that young, 92, no, that young, like 89 fresh Michael, like with the Bulls. Like them first couple of years he was losing, but he was just a highlight, being a bucket each and every time. Like, and he's just exciting to watch right now. Like, he's like the number one guy to watch. I feel like he got the best shoes in the game right now. So I think he got a lot of good things going for him. So I like Ant-Man for number one, man.
Beautiful, great choice. Now, Chris, you do have another 2-game schedule coming up this week. How you feeling for it, man?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling real good about it. Like I said, going on this 3-game run, getting the ball rolling. We got 2 home games. We got Illawarra, we got Canberra. Illawarra was really good last year. They had Dave O'Hickey. This year they're looking like they have a lot more of a younger team. I know they're kind of like at the bottom of the totem pole of the conference, but it's like those are the teams that you don't take lightly.
Yeah.
Like those, because they have nothing to lose. Like, they have nothing to lose. Just like a Penrith or a Hornsby, like those teams, they don't have nothing to lose. They should just come out here trying to prove, like, oh, let's go get one against them, and then we'll be the talk of the town, and maybe it gets them going. So you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that team where you take teams lightly. So I tell my focal point this week would be, Saturday should be like, we should definitely sure be a more comfortable win.
And that game against Canberra was massive.
But I was like, so it's kind of like the same structure week that it was. Like, handle our business, don't make it a game. Don't focus on make this a game where we work on our stuff that we need to work on, that we need to get better, talking on the floor, our rotations, getting out and running, getting easy ones, and going ahead and get the game over with. So, me and Ish can rest. We can get other guys in the game that don't get to play as much, give them some time to shine. Congratulate them. They get some buckets, be happy for them. And then, get some rest, because we have an early one Sunday.
1 p.m.
for Canberra at 1 o'clock, which will be a very tough game, very well experienced. They won it. They led the conference 2 years ago. So.
Any chance you could send me a ticket for that game?
Yeah, man. Just hit me, man. I got you, man. I got season passes. You ain't got to worry about it.
Nah, done. Yeah, because I'm actually looking forward. And to be honest, I just want to also thank you for your time and giving me this opportunity to kind of delve into the NBL1 East competition. And Hills Hornets are my team. So fingers crossed, get myself a jersey too, and wrap it up.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, giving me the opportunity to, have this great convo, share my story a little bit. Hopefully, this reaches out to a lot of people, a lot of kids. And they get to hear it, and they get to hear, it wasn't all good. It was some bad, but at the end of the day, don't give up. Like, if you have a dream, keep dreaming and keep moving forward with that dream. It doesn't matter what this person say, that person say. If you feel it in your heart, this is something that, whatever it is in life that you want to go do, if you want to go do it, go do it. Because a lot of people will try to steer you off, but then it's like, once you get to that end of the road, they be the same people that be like, oh man, I knew you was gonna make it.
Yeah.
So chase your dream, follow your path, man, and do what you love to do, and do it at a high level.
And that's words of wisdom. I appreciate it, Chris. And yeah, definitely, hopefully you can get you back on the show sometime in the near future.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's get it back and chop it back up, man, towards the end.
Beautiful.